So with that, maybe we should get over to the first presentation, which is by Moon Society, and Ben Smith will be talking about. What did you say?
Moon Society at a crossroads.
Yes,
Yes.
I should get back. Yep, you have the floor. Please go on.
All right. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Smith. I'm a member of the Moon Society. I've also served as a treasurer, board member, membership coordinator, and I was asked to do a presentation about the Moon Society because the Moon Society is putting on this conference. So we thought it'd be good to talk about the society and especially our future. So let me go ahead and share. Mm, Okay. So why is the Moon Society at a crossroads? Well, the moon is receiving more attention now than it has in decades following the Apollo program. Since 2022, there's been 21 missions to Luna. Most of them have failed, along with another 8 planned into 2028. So this is a unique time for the Moon Society to take a leadership position, right? Especially since we are talking about settlement, whereas most people are talking about just exploration or maybe some kind of outpost temporarily. So we're an established international organization, right? We've been around for 25 years. The anniversary is just a few days away. And so we have some credibility and we have a track record. We have accomplished things. I mean, we could do more. And the Moon Society is the only organization that I know of that is talking about the moon. Mars has Mars Society and Zubrin and Musk and all other kinds of advocates going to Mars and trying to settle, talking about settling Mars. And the moon has nobody. So this is an opportunity for the Moon Society to be the advocate for lunar settlement. So what are we doing now? Obviously, we have our annual conference, the Lunar Development Conference. You're here. This is our flagship program, partnered with Moonbase Laptrask, and mainly due to Nicholas's efforts. So thank you, Nicholas. There's also the Moonbase Laptrask Lunar Analog Settlement that Nicholas is working on. And it's a partnership with the Moon Society. The Moon Society has long wanted an analog, and now we have access to one. So it's early stages, but we could be doing a lot with that. And we have Lunarpedia. That's our wiki database with the goal of being the central repository for everything lunar, right? Data, research, ideas, stories, art. If it has to do with the moon, we want it in Lunarpedia, or at least a link to it if we can't actually get our hands on it. Now, we want to use Lunarpedia as a teaching resource, as a research resource. We want to be able to point people to Lunarpedia and be like, go there to learn about it. And we have the Mare Cognitum virtual chapter. Now, I started Mare Cognitum several years ago and ran it for a year on a monthly basis. And then after a year, it went into hibernation until recently. It's conducted on Zoom, so anybody in the world can join and participate. And it's a place to share ideas about lunar settlement and to socialize with other lunatics. Now, I'm not involved with it right now, and I don't know all the specifics, but you can get more information in our Slack channel and on the website. Okay, so what can the Moon Society be doing? Now, these are just some ideas that I have. If you have ideas, let us know. Like Nicholas said, talk to us in the workshops, get on Slack and talk to us. So I think the first thing we need to do is come up with a new vision, a bold vision about what the society can do to shape the dialogue for lunar settlement. We need new mission, new vision, new values. The current ones I just don't think are working very well. I mean, they're okay, but I don't think they're inspiring people. And we can start leading the conversation, right? Once we have our new vision about lunar settlement, we need to start telling people about it. We need to be presenting at conferences. We need to get media coverage. We need to let people know that the future doesn't have to be as dreadful as a lot of people are making it out to be, right? We can present a vision of the future where, instead of causing all our troubles on Earth, humanity can go out into space and settle the solar system. And we need to do research, right? Most of the technology and techniques needed for lunar settlement just don't exist yet. Same for Mars, too. So we can take a leading role in facilitating that research and directing it in the direction that we think we need to go. And we should be doing joint Luna-Mars projects, right? There's a lot of advocates out there for Mars. There's no reason for us to be fighting with them. We should be working together because most of the technology needed for both planets is the same or similar enough that it should be easily modifiable. And we don't have to choose between Moon and Mars, right? Humanity should be able to do them both simultaneously, and we should be able to work together with the Mars people to make it happen. And we need to be networking with non-space organizations, right? We need to get out of our echo chamber. It's easy to talk about space and lunar settlement with other space people. We're all very excited about the same thing. We need to get the message out to people who aren't interested in space. Environmental groups could be key partners, as can non-space industries. We need to find ways for our messages to resonate with other groups besides just the space community. And we need to become more international. Now, the MoonSociety does have international members, but we should definitely be making an effort to bring in people from other nations, especially nations that aren't particularly active in space, right? They may not feel like they have a voice in how space settlement is being done. So we should try to network with as many space and non-space organizations as possible, regardless of where they are located or their size. Lunar settlement should include all of humanity and not just the very wealthy nations. And we need some more member perks and activities. Like one of the perks is admittance to the LDC every year. And that's great. But we need more, maybe like a monthly email newsletter or maybe lunar observing parties that are both physical and virtual. So let us know what you think you would like to see the MoonSociety do, especially if it's something that you would like to help with. All right, so I'm going to end with this. We need you, right? If you want to see lunar settlement happen in your lifetime, then you need to help us make it a reality, because the reality is that nobody else cares about lunar settlement, right? Governments don't, industry doesn't. They're talking about missions and outposts, and that's about it, not settlement. We're the ones that care about settlement. We're the ones that want to see it. So we're the ones that are going to have to put the effort in and try to make that happen, right? So the MoonSociety relies on volunteers, right? Right now, we are 100% volunteer-driven, no paid staff. So if we want to see stuff happen, we have to have volunteers that are willing to put the time and energy and effort into making things happen. Eventually, if we can grow some, we might be able to get some staff. But right now, we need you and the rest of our members to actually get stuff done. So it's an opportunity, right? We're small. We need to have stuff done. Individuals can have big impacts on the society. So what can you do? Oh. First of all, join us in Slack, right? This is where we do our conversations. This is where we put together our work. This is where we have working groups. So go to the website or use this URL, sign up on Slack. It's free, it's easy, and then just say hi. Help us define what we want the society to be and then help us accomplish it. And then there are leadership positions, right? We're volunteers. We need leaders who are going to spend their time making things happen, right? We need officers and board directors who are actually going to get voted in and make key decisions for the society, right? We have key positions that are empty that need to be filled. We have programs that need leaders, or if you have an idea for a program, talk to us and we'll help you start it and you can run it. We need chapter leaders and we need active members who will get involved with decision making. All kinds of opportunities if you want a leadership position or if you want to learn how to be a leader in an organization. And if you don't want to lead, that's great. We need people to help do stuff. We need doers to make these projects a success. So definitely get into Slack and let us know, hey, I don't have time to lead something, but I'm willing to put some hours in a week. Where can I help? We will figure that out. And tell everybody about us and Lunar Settlement. Obviously this is something that we're all interested in. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. We need advocates. We need ambassadors. We need to excite people beyond just the space community. And it could be as simple as, posting information about Moon Society activities or projects on your social media accounts. Or, you could go as deep as running public demonstrations. One of our members does that on a regular basis. It's pretty interesting. So, it's up to you, and anything that you can do to help the society helps move everything forward. So the Moon Society is at a crossroads, right? We can either keep doing business as usual and let others decide if lunar settlement is going to happen or not. Or we can plot a bolder course and become a critical player in the development of the solar system. But we should decide now what we want the Moon Society to do so we can take advantage of the situation and actually become a part of the conversation. All right, that's all I got. So thank you, and I'll answer any questions, or you can tell me what you think the Moon Society should be doing. It's open to anybody.
I'm really fond of the idea of the analog settlement. I think national chapters should have some sort of robot building effort so that we could ship them to the analog and try them out there. It would be a great way to drive engagement.
It would. We'll definitely put that on the list.
Ben, stop sharing at this point, if you don't mind, please.
Oh, I was going to leave the.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay,
but I can definitely.
Pardon me.
I can. There you go. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm happy to coordinate that with robots here. I could add that as part of the analog here, I have put 3 tons of lunar regolith simulant in the old gym of the building. And by lunar regolith simulant, I mean gray gravel that I bought from the neighbor who was shipping that kind of stuff.
It's close enough for now, right?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yep. Right. So, we could do something similar to what the Mars Society does. And actually, I think we should look at the Mars Society as a template. And they're successful. We should basically just ruthlessly copy everything that they've done, only make it for the moon. So, they do a rover challenge every year with universities. No reason we couldn't do the same thing and then run them at the analog.
What would remote lunar viewing be? How would that work? But it's something you mentioned, Ben.
I don't. Could you be a little more specific?
Well, you said looking for activities for perks. So you said lunar.
Oh, right, right. Like lunar parties, right?
Right.
You can have, okay, everybody's gonna get online, and we're gonna have some people with telescopes, maybe with digital cameras that can then live stream, and we're gonna look at some feature, and we can all talk about whatever feature. We're gonna look at Tycho crater or whatever. Um, just something to get the community together, get people interested. We could have chapters that actually do physical viewings and then include a virtual component for that for people that can't be there.
All right, okay, good.
Excuse, what is International Moon Day and a meeting in Dubai, July 20th?
Well,
That's
International Moon Day is put on by another organization, and we do participate in that, right, Nicholas?
yes. This conference is part of the International Moon Day, so that's the connection, really.
Yeah, usually there's stuff going on all over the world, conferences, meetings, viewing parties, whatever. It's just a day to raise awareness that hey, it exists, and we're studying it, and we want to go there.
Ben, can I
Hi.
say some, can I say something?
Of course.
There's been a change in emphasis in the literature between when I edited the book called The Human Factor and the Settlement of the Moon by Springer. It was 2021. I was the lead editor, and Sozik was the second. And at that time, the NASA budget was pretty strong, and the NASA budget's getting weaker.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, the book I'm doing now with Corbally and Kampa, this emphasis has changed from exploration and beauty and the love of science, which are all wonderful motivations, to commerce.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the activities that we are emphasizing as our issue areas are environmental problems, but they're mostly related to commerce. And, this has kind of been a change for me, from one book to the book I'm working on. But there are a bunch of people out there, that belong to small space startup, that are small space startup companies. And they're all over Europe, they're all over America. They're small, and there's also a bunch of miners. And this is really kind of an interesting group of guys. It's mostly guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you've got some populations out there that you could draw on for new members.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I'm saying, especially if you got a little bit more commerce oriented. Now, I love science, I love beauty, I love exploration, But the reason we're actually probably going to go to the moon and get some people settled there is for commercial reasons, money making right now. And, people draw money, money draw people. When people come, they settle, it's changed in the past year or two, I swear. So I think that, there was one young man, I think he was a physicist, who wrote a chapter for my book on the settlement on the moon. And, he was kind of like a lone guy, I think he had partners and he had contracts and he was very competitive, and I've done that myself. I've started a company myself, but he was really doing it the hard way. And there are people out there that are lone actors in small companies all over Europe. He was in Spain a space startup company in Spain, right?
Mhm.
And they're all over America too. So I think that if you're looking for a new membership, that really, the other thing is there's not a list of these guys, or companies is what I really should say. I should stop calling them guys. So I think the first thing you need to do is to make a list of these companies. They're starting. They're the ones that are going to develop the orbitals that take a place of ISS. So I don't know if you're looking for more memberships. I think if somehow you could make a list of these people and companies and invite them to join.
I think a directory of moon companies is a very good idea. Yes.
I mean, it's just more people, and they're floating out there. So I have the sense they kind of, don't have an anchor. They could be your anchor, is what I'm saying. Anyway, okay.
I would like to see us be their anchor. I would like us to have
Yeah.
a new vision of what we want space settlement to be, and then bring these actors in and say, listen, you're working on this, and this ties into something we need, so let's work together. And they can feed into our vision of what we want to see. And it also helps them with getting some publicity and some support and everything else. So yeah, I would love to see us partner with as many companies and individuals as we can.
I think that those who are connected to a university don't feel quite so lonely out there,
Yeah.
But those who are not connected to universities, are looking for a home.
All right. Thanks, Margaret. That's good ideas. We'll definitely put it on the list. Appreciate it.
Commerce.
Right.
That's what's going to settle the moon.
It'll be great to see if there's a synergistic interactions between those separate projects too, because it's a complicated equation. You have to get there, you have to mine the stuff, you have to find the way to make power and all that. So, having everything under one roof would be a good way to see how we could optimize this ecosystem.
Yep. And I'd like the MoonSociety to be that roof, right? The place where everybody can go and we can talk and collaborate, and at the very least, we'll know what is out there, what people are working on, and we can kind of, find a way to make all of that happen.
Yeah, and keep track of who is doing what that is relevant, and help people to connect together and find synergies and make it even more relevant.
I was thinking maybe a bit of visibility on the analog too. That would be really interesting. Maybe kind of like how sponsors for sport events, they got their branding on the sides of the stadium or something. Would be a good way for smaller players to get some recognition.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right. I think one good group to be more connected to would be people working in environmental technologies, especially those. And there's a natural connection to life support. And you mentioned that, Ben, environmental groups, not maybe old-fashioned, traditional degrowth green groups, but those who actually are working with developing new technologies, in particular for circular economy or stuff like that.
Right.
And they will be keen to be part of this. For instance, in Sweden, where I'm from, we have large mining companies doing trials with making equipment for mining the moon. Right. Just as a sort of thought or innovation session. And they also will provide small, let's say, conceptual things, and eventually send stuff to the moon. And there are lots and lots of groups that are keen on space exploration and space settlement, which are not, let's say, connected to the Space Society at all. And we should be more friendly to contact with them.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, we should be trying to network with anybody who would want to work with us.
Frida?
Yeah. I just want to say in my paper tomorrow, I'll stress what a gift it could be to Earth to develop the lunar system.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Right.
think about all the technology we have to develop to settle the moon, how that can all be adapted to helping us here on Earth. I mean, just the spin-off technology would be amazing.
Along those lines, from my perspective, we should be building moon settlements on the Earth, like actual settlements for people to live in. And that would allow us to develop most of the technology, get experience with it. Because a lot of like living inside of a dome, for instance, the whole biosystem, all that stuff is very, very complex. And it's not going to be significantly different on Earth than it is on the moon. And so, from my perspective, if we're serious about actually settling the moon, we should be settling the Earth first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, that's definitely a good idea, and I think Nicholas is working towards that.
Yeah.
His analog. I mean, it's not necessarily a full-scale analog of a settlement, but it's getting there.
More of a cross section. It's too small for being self-sufficient.
Right.
I'm talking more about a place where people could live, like an alternate place to live. Like you could actually go live there. Like instead of moving to an apartment building or, buying a house in the suburbs, you could move into a lunar settlement, but it would be on Earth.
Yeah, there's groups called arcology groups that are working on self-sustaining cities like that, which would be very similar to a lunar settlement in some ways. I get what you're saying. It's just that would be a very cool long-term goal. We'll definitely put it on the list of something to think about if we could get a hold of some land and maybe
I need to put in that Stuart is one of those people that you're talking about too.
Oh,
yeah, I'm one of the arcology people. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that there's that direct connection between arcology and settlements on other planets. But when I look at the technology required to actually have a self-sustaining, enclosed building, it looks very much the same, whatever planet it's on. And so we may as well do it first.
Oh, I agree. Very good.
Very good discussion here. Let's